a dialogue. Mural is a public work of art. It allows an audience to see what's happening. And then they can see the process. And they could immediately see what's going on. And then it kind of is a hook. You know, they're like, whoa, something's cool happening.
A couple years ago, we received funding and support from the college to create a public art program. So our maiden voyage, our first project was to have a call for a mural. The students selected the work of Paul Botello. He's a renowned Chicano, Latino muralist and artist who's painted many murals throughout Southern California. So now we have this beautiful mural here on campus.
When I read the RFQ, the prospectus, the application for this, what they wanted, equity, equality, inclusiveness, diversity. They wanted something that showed their desire for the environment, for the earth. I mean, that just resonated with me. That's just right up that's my philosophy. That's really what I like to focus on. Dude, all that stuff, that touched me. I mean, like, yes.
I just think it's great that like everyone can see a piece of themselves in it. I also think it's great that the artist was here on campus so much and talked to students. So like students can feel like they knew Paul. He always stopped to talk to everyone who wanted to talk to him, which I think is so important.
Hey gentlemen, good to see you. Paul.
Bro, this shit nice.
Hey guys, you're special because you're a kindred spirit. You take the moment and you give some of your shine to others, and that's kindness and love. And that's what this mural is about.
I appreciate that, man.
I've been watching this as the weeks have gone by, and so it's so nice to like see it coming together. We were part of like focus groups and voting and everything, so it's cool to see the ones like we chose.
The Long Beach City College mural is inspired by the people of the community. It's that idea of inclusion and the idea of solidarity and the need for us to fight for justice and the need for us to support diversity, accessibility, to have an opportunity to represent a multitude of people. Prior to even designing my mural, I interviewed the people of the community, dog walkers, students, administrators, counselors, and I was inspired by their words. You know, they're inspired by their thoughts, their feelings. I wanted to show that in my work. I put icons that represent academic courses as well as reading and writing and mental health. So the idea of science and spirituality and the duality of it and how they're so different, but at the same time, they can work together cohesively.
Having such a mural like this behind me just gives it a breath of fresh air. I've been here, this is my 19th year here, and there's been public art on campus, but not to this magnitude. So I think that it's certainly an enhancement as far as the grounds, as far as the reception of the college. I think that it's more inviting that the students look up there and see themselves, and I think that's sort of empowering.
Art on campus helps get rid of like the stagnant, sterile feeling that sometimes you feel when you come into an institution. Having the art on campus makes it a more welcoming space for a lot of students. I'm hopeful that with this being the first piece, that when we see what the campus can be like with more art, we could really have like a real change in the culture here.
It's a campus, it's a college, it's a school of knowledge, it's a place of learning. And so this is an opportunity to teach and show a process that I've used for decades. Well, look at this area, for example. I used the grid method of enlargement where you could actually see the red grid here. I use a 1 inch equals 1 foot. That's my scale. And I chalk it all in. If it looks good, I call it my cartoon. I color book it. I use black outline. And then I use white. So you got black, white, and gray. You got the value scale. And then using washes of white and black, I'm able to get different values.
I use space and texture and color, and I use contrast and dynamics, and I use variety, and I use just the language of art.
I like my art to be beautiful but thought-provoking. Thus, I put the DNA strands in my Long Beach mural, and as they wrap around the tree of knowledge, the tree of life, they turn into branches. They also wrap downward. They go up and down, and they wrap around these students and staff, and they kind of embrace them and hug them. And then also they go further down into the earth, and they embrace, Buddha, and they embrace black goddesses and Odin and Mesoamerican gods. These are our ancestors. They represent yesterday. Those flowers that are down there, they're purple, white, and light purple. The reason why I put them in the mural is because I interviewed the gardener, the landscaper, the person who takes care of these plants and nurtures them. He goes, wow, I love my job, Mr. Botello. I go, anything you're proud of? He goes, yes, come here. And you see he's beaming, and he's showing me these beautiful flowers he just planted. I go, wow, they're so gorgeous. I love the 3 colors. He goes, you know what their name is? I'm like, no. He goes, they're called yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Whoa. Bam. That's the title of the mural. Felix's plants, these beautiful flowers, which is my homeboy down there, Francisco, who's an excellent oil painter. He wants to learn acrylics. He wants to learn how to do murals. He wants to paint large scale. He's interested in this work, so he's a perfect guy. But I'm having him paint the yesterdays, today, and tomorrows, as well as California poppies and lilies, butterflies.
First of all, it was such an honor to work with such a veteran to this. I mean, he's been doing this for many years, right? So who better else to receive instruction from than from somebody that has been doing this for 50 years or so, right? This is something that I've been wanting to do since I was a little kid. I remember walking in my neighborhood and these artists doing murals in my neighborhood, and I would sit down and just watch them. And it interested me, it fascinated me. And I wanted to do this for a long time. So it was such a wonderful experience.
And I remember walking through the campus feeling unsure of myself and my future at the institution. And I happened to sit down on a bench right in front of a mural. And it had Cesar Chavez on the mural. And for me, that was the first time in my entire educational journey that I saw in a mural or in a kind of an art, kind of form of art, someone that reflected my own background and experiences. And so it was a huge connection for me, and I never forgot that moment. And it's something that made me think about, again, you have an experience and you kind of file it in the back of your mind. And then when we were looking at some of our student data around climate surveys, and we saw that students were saying that our walls really and our buildings did not create a sense of belonging for them. It made me think of that moment and that experience. We recognize that our buildings and that our walls speak to people. And we want to make sure that what the message that we communicate to our community is reflective of our values.
Most of the time when we look at art pieces, we are looking at a product. I would look at a product with a student and then ask them to imagine the processes that were involved in creating the product. So much is hidden. But even in looking at a product like this, you can see most people might gravitate towards one image or another because they have their own references that they rely on to when they look at things, especially art, and gravitate towards what might be familiar with them. So I would encourage that.
Muralists have different stories to say. My pieces are not just pretty. I want something that is thought-provoking. I have to have some meaning behind my work. It's a story of education and knowledge. And I'm very appreciative to everyone who made this happen. Because I paint the mural, but even to get to that point, there's a lot of moving parts, and and a lot of cogs in the wheels that helped. You know, I want to give a big thanks to Janae and Dr. Munoz, and also to the incredible community that inspired me. One of the reasons why I love doing murals is that it has that interaction, it has a dialogue with people I don't even know. And 10 years from now, it will continue to have a dialogue.